I will share my screen with you guys. And so if you guys look here, a mole is just a number. Just like a dozen means 12, a gross is 144. You know, those are just names given to numbers that already exist. Here's another one. This number right here, which is a huge number, 6.022 in the 14179 whatever. Most people just put 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd power. That means we got to move this decimal place 23 times to the right. It's a huge number. So just know it's a very big number. That's all you need to know. And the cool thing is why that's so important to us in chemistry here, and there's a reason for that. It's because remember these numbers right here. For example, this is cobalt, and cobalt's atomic mass is 58.933. What does that mean? All that means is that if you have 1 mole of cobalt, so one atom of cobalt, one single atom is super tiny. We all know that. An atom is very tiny. If I have a mole of them, which is a whole lot, it would weigh, it would have a mass, or it would weigh 58.933 grams if you put it on a scale. If I had that many silver, it would weigh much more. Silver is very dense. And if I had 1 mole of silver, it would weigh 1.0. And that's because these atoms are bigger. These are bigger atoms. They have more protons and more neutrons in them. So if I have 1 mole of these, it would weigh 107.87 grams, and so on and so forth. So today, what we're going to do is learn how to convert back and forth from moles to grams, and you'll see what I mean right now. So let's first go from moles to grams. If somebody said, hey, I'm going to give you 4.5 moles, and often it's just written MOL like that, moles of, I don't know, let's go with carbon. Okay? If somebody said, how many grams is that? How many grams of that? So I give you 4.5 moles of carbon. That's a lot of atoms of carbon. And how much grams is that? Well, then the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go over to the periodic table, and you're going to go, where's carbon? Here it is, right here. It's 12.011. So carbon is 12.011. This is for carbon, by the way. I just looked it up. Grams per mole. Okay? That's what that is, okay? And that's important. So pretty much to do the math, all you do is multiply them. You go 4.5 moles times 12.011 grams per mole. And then these moles end up canceling out, and you just end up in those grams. So you're just multiplying 4.5 times 12, and that's it. So let's do that. Let's take 4.5 times 12.011, and we get 54.0. I guess I can round this one to a 5 because there's a 9 there, so 54.05. 54.05 grams. That's how many grams it would weigh if I had this many moles of carbon. And remember, a mole is just a really big number, and if I have that many atoms of carbon, it would weigh this much. That's all that really means, okay? So pretty much you're just taking how many moles you have of something and multiplying it by the atomic mass of that, or the atomic mass of that thing, or the atomic weight, and you multiply those two together, and that tells you how many grams of stuff you would have. So if we're going the other way, so for example, if we're going from grams to moles, and we're going this way, and I told you, hey, I'm going to give you, I don't know, let's pick a new element. Let's choose platinum right now, platinum, okay? So if I give you, let's say 500, that's a half a kilo, because a kilo means 1,000 grams. So if I give you a half a kilo of platinum, and I say, how many moles would you have of that stuff? Then, so I'm going to put platinum. What is the abbreviation for platinum, by the way? I didn't even look at what it was. Let's see. So I don't have to write the whole word out. It's just PT. Okay. So PT. So if I give you this many grams of PT, how many moles would that be? And the first thing we need to know is what is the atomic weight is the first thing we need to know. The atomic weight is right here. 195.08. 195.08 grams per mole. I can already tell that I'm going to have more than 2 moles of this stuff. I already know that. How do I know that? Because it's not even 200. It's almost 200, right? This number. And that's how many grams there are in every mole. So if I had 2 of these, I'd have almost 400, right? But I actually have 500. So I already know the answer. I already know the answer is going to be 2 something, right? 2 point something moles. I already know that right off the bat without doing any math. I just know that there's this many grams per mole of platinum, PT. I looked this up and I have this many grams. So I already know I'm going to have 2 point something. So and how do I get that? It's really, you're just going to divide them. You just take the mass of the stuff that you have and divide it by the atomic weight. And that will tell you how many moles of stuff you have, okay? So we're just going to take 500 grams and divide it by 195.08. And then we get, and that will tell us how many moles. And let's take the 500 and divide it by 195.08. 500 divided by 195.08 is equal to, and here's the number right here, 2.56. And I told you it was going to be over 2.56 moles. Okay, so this is how many moles, and what does that mean? That's how many atoms, right? Kind of. Not exactly. We don't have 2.56 atoms of platinum. We have 2.56 moles of platinum, and each mole is a lot of atoms, right? Each one is 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd power. That's how many atoms you have per mole. So yeah, it's a lot of atoms, right? But most people don't talk about these numbers. It's just so big. We just call that a mole because it's easier. Just like people don't tell you to go buy 12 eggs at a store. They tell you to go buy a dozen eggs, right? Nobody says, go buy me 12 eggs at the store. They just say, go buy me a dozen eggs. They just use the word that means 12, but really it's still 12. So your assignment for the day is, if you get out of here, I left this periodic table for you so you can look up those numbers. You'll need them. And really, you're just going to convert the grams per mole like I did of 5 substances and the moles to grams of 5 substances and show your work. So if you need to, you can always just enter in space right here or whatever you need to do to give yourself as much space as needed. Okay? So, that's all you'll have to do for the assignment.